Terrell Thomas, These Urban Times, sitting down on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon with two gentlemen that I guarantee you've seen on your TV screen if you're a fan of sports, fan of the NBA. And they've also been doing a lot of things since retirement and leaving the NBA world on the court in their communities, giving back to various charities, organizations, and just giving back to the game in which they love so much. Former NBA star Josh Powell and former NBA star Jumaine Jones. How y'all gentlemen doing today?
Good, man. I appreciate you having us on.
I appreciate you, gentlemen, and what y'all doing. Now, the spotlight will be on you guys this weekend as Mindful Sports and Performance presents the Retired Players Ball. You know, like last time I heard something about the Players Ball, I was thinking of Martin and him coming out with Jerome in the house and stuff like that. So y'all are doing something extremely dope, especially in the time that we're living in. Of course, we all aware of the pandemic that's going on and social distancing and having to do events and have events in a new way, a new norm. So I definitely have a lot of respect for what you gentlemen are kicking off. Josh, I want to start with you. Why do you feel like the Retired Players Ball, a black tie affair, why do you feel like that was something that was so important to handle?
I mean, for one, like you mentioned already, just everything that we all have been going through, you know what I mean? And to be honest, I was actually brought on board. It was already the seed from Sheena, who is the CEO and founder of Mindful Sports Performance. So I just think the timing couldn't be any more perfect, especially because of what we're focusing on from the mental health aspect. And just getting everybody out, a lot of good energy, a chance to really network and build with other people and to raise money and do something in a dope way for an amazing cause, especially because, we all in some way, shape, or form are, suffering from or dealing with mental health in so many different capacities, whether it's ourselves or our families or our friends or, just people that are in our circle. So, I just think the timing couldn't be any more perfect, and we're making sure that we stay safe and we follow guidelines. But, it's just something that's much needed, and it's going to be a great night.
I think that's very well said. Jumaine, would you like to add anything? Why was this so important and something for you to get involved in?
Well, I mean, anybody that know me a little bit, man, I like to put on clothes anyway. You know what I mean? So, no, but on a more serious note, man, I think it couldn't have been a better time. A lot of people was reaching out to me. Actually, it was, like, man, like, you really want to do this now? And I was like, well, what better time to do it? You know what I mean? Like, people have been shut in. You know what I mean? A lot's been going on in 2020. And like you said, it's pretty much like the new norm. So I feel like it's a perfect opportunity. We're trying to, work on this mental health thing and get people to actually start having conversations about it, especially in our Black community. And as men, we really want to get people, to get all these athletes out and try to get them to discuss a lot about what things that they go through. So try to open up everybody to feel comfortable with, opening up and talking about it, because no one would really know that it's a problem unless you're open to talk about it. So this event is pretty much something that we want to do to brand out the mindful sport. Let us know that we are here to help anybody that's going through the process, and also to try to get out to everybody else and let them know that we're open to collaborate with anybody. So that everybody can have their, sources. A lot of people's like, well, we don't have this and we don't have that. And us as Mindful Sport, we're here with open arms to help anybody. And if it get overloaded for us, we're working with everybody else so that everybody have, places that they can go to receive the help. But first of all, I think we need to be open more about having a conversation about it.
Well said by both of you gentlemen. Mental health awareness is something that has definitely been growing in the Black community and among Black African-American men or men of color. So I think that's very dope that you gentlemen are taking time to highlight this, especially being former athletes and great at what you do. A lot of people feel like, athletes are Iron Man, or they don't have feelings, they don't go through different things. So showing, I guess I say, a human side to you guys is also dope as well. Josh, I've known you for some years now, since your retirement here in Atlanta, for your works in the communities, doing things like playing in the ABL or getting out and giving back in your community well. And Jumaine, I grew up in Philadelphia, so I remember it very well your time with the Sixers and being a fan favorite and everything you brought to the court in that aspect. Josh, for you, I want to start with you on this point. Since your retirement from the NBA, how has life changed for you? And I want to say from a mental perspective, you know, the everyday grind, the lights, the cameras, the action, how have things changed for you since your retirement from the league?
I think for me, I've always been a stay out of the way kind of guy. So I wasn't really caught up in the lifestyle, I guess, as that is concerned. I do think that I've tried to focus more on the positive of, you know, being able to do things that I've wanted to do that I couldn't while I was playing. And like I was talking.
I think we might have gotten to a bad reception space for Josh for a moment. So I'll shift to you momentarily, Jumaine. How about yourself? Since your retirement from the league, how have things shifted for you, and has it impacted your mental health in any way?
Man, I tell you what, man, it was really tough for me because, you know, when you get accustomed to doing the same things almost daily, you know, you get into a routine and work and having a place to show up, to go to work, you know what I mean, having finances coming in, having everybody, you know, working for you because you want to concentrate on your craft because you don't really have time to worry about anything else outside of hooping because every year it's only 450 NBA players in the game. So every year we got to be trying to make sure that we're part of that 450. So we delegate a lot of stuff for other people and have to trust a lot of people that we might not even, you know, be too sure about, you know what I mean? So once the ball stops, you know, it's tough, man. I went into a 3-year depression, to be honest with you, man, because, you know, I didn't have, you know, the money stopped coming in. You know what I mean? Now I'm dealing with a lot of other issues that I didn't even know was an issue because, you know, basketball is kind of like a coping skill, for real. You know, a lot of stuff that you go through, you know, a lot of stuff that you're going through already, you know, you don't have time to actually deal with it. You know what I mean? So, you know, you're playing 4 or 5 games out of the night. Out of a week. So you don't have time to do that. So when the ball stops bouncing, you really all of that come down on you. So you got time to think about everything that's going on with you. You don't have anywhere to go from day to day. You know what I mean? The money's not coming in. You don't have all these people working for you anymore. So I mean, it can be depressing, man. So for me and for me, like basketball was something that I lived and breathed. So not to have that, it left me in a place where I was trying to find who I was outside of basketball and what I was going to be doing other than basketball. So it took me, I was in the funk, and the thing that I do regret going through that process is not reaching out for help. And that's one of the things that we really want to touch on too, about, you know, people that are scared to go out and ask for help, because that's one of the things that I regret in those 3 years. You know, that's 3 years pretty much I was, you know, down and out, man. It was tough for me, and I finally got reached out and asked for some help, and I was able to overcome, you know, a lot of the things that I was going through at that time, and found myself and find something that I was passionate about, and that's what brought me to what I'm doing now, to be able to help people that's, you know, for me, myself, going through that. I would love to help anybody else that's going through that process as well.
Unfortunately, during you gentlemen's time playing in the NBA, mental health awareness wasn't highlighted the way it is now. We have seen the NBA take a stance, and I'll commend the NBA because it's one of the few leagues that actually has given their players a platform to speak about any mental health issues they may be having, and just wanting to have another voice or be heard. Of course, earlier this year, 2020 has been a roller coaster year for everyone. That's no secret at all. It kicked off very strange and very sad for the NBA community. Josh, something I know you know very well. You played with the young brother, the great man. We lost the life of Kobe Bryant to start the year off. Josh, can you talk to me about, we saw a lot of players in the NBA, especially a lot of your currents, the younger stars, your Trae Youngs, your Lukas, cats who really grew up. They were young kids watching Kobe play. And for that first week or two, the game seemed a little bit different. It did seem like some cats' mental focus was elsewhere. Josh, what were your thoughts in the beginning of the year when we lost Kobe Bryant? And did you see, I guess I'll say the transition from the younger players and just they're suffering and they're looking for help and looking to be heard?
I mean, it was hard for me because like that was the day after my birthday, so it's like I always remember that, like literally, like my. So it's something that I still, think about. I mean, to this day, you know what I mean. He blessed a lot of people, a lot of families, a lot of kids, a lot of, our generation, a lot of the older generation. Like he was a huge, like that man was an icon. Like he was big, and it was like losing a superhero. You know what I'm saying? Especially the way that everything happened. It was just tragic across the board. And, for him and his daughter to go at the same time, along with the other passengers. So it just hit home on a lot of different levels. And, I even know like my kids to this day, they still, scream Kobe, shooting jump shot, because that is just what they heard about. You know what I mean? Like my older kids know, obviously, from those days of playing with them, even though they was young, but like they remember because there's pictures, there's stuff that's talked about. But I just know that his presence is forever felt. I mean, I paid homage. I put a tattoo with him and Gigi on my body. So just to forever, let that legacy live on. But I think that it inspired me as a man, as a father, as a friend, as a family member to want to do better and be better across the board, For something like that to happen and be so tragic, like it just makes you, rethink things and become even more humble, and to really pay attention and understand the importance of love and forgiveness and being there for people and checking on people across the board, because you never know what anybody's going through.
Respect. Very well said. Now, this weekend will be, I don't want to say the party of parties, but you're bringing awareness to a great topic, something that does need to get light in the Black community, as we mentioned, especially with Black men. But there will be a celebration in store as well. Black tie event, so cats will be getting fresh. And you got a lot of your friends who will be in the building, other former athletes and greats. Former NFL star Peter Warrick would be there. You had the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, Allen Iverson. Jumaine, was it hard to gather your fellow peers in the sports world to come out during these times, use their voice and their different platforms to bring awareness to mental health?
Well, I mean, it's tough. It's tough for everybody at this time, but, we've been going through this for so long, man. Like you said before, this is kind of like the new norm. So I think everybody's like adjusting, to, trying to figure out like how can we do things and also be safe as well. To be honest with you, man, I was actually shocked. I've always been that person that never wanted to reach out to people, you know what I mean? But I always kept my nose clean. I always kept good relationships with people, but still, I was never that guy to ask people to come in and, I pretty much just reached out to guys and like let them know what I had going on, man. And I was like shocked at how many people responded and was like, man, yeah, I would love to be a part of that. So for me, I was shocked about it, but it lets me know also that everybody else really notices how much mental health means right now, especially, with the pandemic and all that we're going through. As athletes, they understand because they've been through things. And then, a lot of those players are retired too now. So I'm pretty sure that they went through a lot of things during their time of playing and probably not even noticing a lot of times, during their career. You really don't find out a lot of stuff until afterwards, when basketball is gone. Like I said before, basketball is kind of like a coping thing. So you don't really realize a lot until everything is gone. So I think a lot of those players understand that. They understand the importance of it. A lot of players are dealing with it with their families. I mean, it's just a lot. Like I said, I was just shocked at how much support that we were getting, man. And I take my hats off to all of those guys that's coming out. Lamar Odom, you know what I mean? Mario West, Damien Wilkins, Theo Ratliff. I mean, Jerome Williams. And like these guys was, you know, as soon as I picked up the phone and were calling these guys, man, they was like, man, when is it? Where? How can I help? You know what I mean? Trace McGrady. Like I was so shocked that, you know, how, you know, the support that we got from Trace McGrady. I mean, Shaq, like having Shaq call my phone, like, hey, man, like I'm looking at my phone, still shocked, like Shaq calling me, like, yeah, man, you know, I'm coming through. So, I mean, for me, you know, it's amazing for those kind of people to come in and see how much, you know, how important it is. And you know, for something that me and Josh and Sheena, who's the CEO, to put together and to get that type of support, man, it's very humbling. And I mean, that's pretty much that I can say. I really, it's so much that I can say, but it's so much that I can't, you know what I mean? So I'm just over, like, what can I say about these people that's coming in? Like, how many people can come in and come out and have these kind of people coming in and supporting what you're doing? So I really appreciate a lot that they're doing, and to come out and show us support.
Much love. Josh, you stay in tune with a lot of the current players in the NBA, a lot of the younger cats. As we mentioned a moment ago, you've been playing in the ABL league, a league here in the Atlanta area, where you see a lot of pro stars, pro players, college players, high school players get out in the summertime, refine their skills. It's almost like a brotherhood. They'll sit, talk, interact with different fans. It was challenging this year, with 2020 being the year that it's been. The NBA had to suspend this season and then restart in a bubble. From your perspective, or maybe any insights you have, how do you feel like that bubble played an impact on the mental health of the players in the NBA currently?
I know for some it was probably challenging because they're used to moving and doing things how they normally would. And I think for others, I mean, it's an opportunity for them to perform at the high, you know, an even higher level because it's less distractions and certain things like that. So it can go either way. I definitely know it's tough, you know, for any of us to be used to something and try to make those adjustments. So that's why I would say that for some guys it was easier than others, especially when you're talking about, you know, your family can't be around and, you know, you got to be confined in this space or this area, regardless of the amount of resources and things that they had going on. It's still an adjustment for everybody, no matter what, across the board. So I think that everybody did an amazing job. I think the NBA did an amazing job. Obviously, they didn't have any, you know, body test positive. They didn't have to go through none of that, and they were able to show the world, you know, how to properly manage this the situation. And also too, this was some of the best basketball we've seen probably in the last 10, 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, it was great basketball every night, you know, which is something that you rarely see happen. And it was just fun. And I enjoyed watching it every night, you know. So hats off to those guys and everybody that made adjustments, even the people that were struggling. But they still were able to be professional and do what they needed to do on the court.
Once again, Terrell Thomas sitting down with former NBA stars Jumaine Jones and Josh Powell. Before I let you gentlemen go, once again, just to give note, the retired players ball kicks off this Friday. In closing, I will let you gentlemen let people know how they can reach out if they want to donate, if they want to use their voices or their platform. But I got to ask you gentlemen, while I have you here, on your thoughts on the upcoming season. The 2020-21 NBA season is going to kick off roughly in about 2.5 weeks. December 25th. We now know the schedule has been falling out over the last 48 hours. We found out the Christmas schedule that'll take place, and we'll see Zion on the court. We'll see Luka on the court. We'll see the Lakers and the Clippers not against each other. We'll see the Bucks. So we'll see a star-studded Christmas. But we also know the first games that'll be played on TNT. You'll have the Golden State Warriors heading to Brooklyn to take on Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. And then the nightcap will be a matchup of Staples Centers as the Lakers will raise their banners, and we'll get a rematch of the Lakers versus Clippers. Both teams have a few additions, a few tweaks to their rosters. Jumaine, I want to start with you here. And with two teams mainly, maybe the Sixers and the Suns, what were your thoughts on their offseason moves and where they're going moving forward with the 2020-2021 season?
I tell you what, man, I haven't seen any bad acquisitions during the summertime. I think everybody made some great additions, and it's going to be a great Christmas. I mean, I think the NBA did a great job of putting things together. It's going to be interesting to see, being the fact that guys are going to be able to travel now, and how they're going to be able to manage that. But the NBA always do a great job of putting things together. I just want to know how they're going to manage it, because I think that, that'll be one of the things that kind of teach everybody else, trying to kind of lead the way and try to get everybody else to try to figure out how we can go through this pandemic and kind of manage everything that's going on. So I'm interested in seeing how that's going to work with that. But, like when the pandemic first hit down, the NBA was the first league that shut down. You know what I mean? So they always been leading by example. So I'm very happy to be able to see how they're going to manage that, because I know they always surprise me with a lot of things that they do. So that's what I'm more looking forward to than actually watching the games, to be honest.
Okay. Josh, how about you? Were there any acquisitions that stood out to you? Of course, your former team, the Lakers, won the chip last year. They'll be looking to repeat, and they reloaded, added some talent to their roster. With the Lakers or any team throughout the league, of course, even here in our backyard, Atlanta, the Hawks picked up some key additions to their roster. Were there any acquisitions or moves that surprised you or stood out to you this offseason?
First of all, shout out to the Hawks, man. I'm always rep for the home team. So, boys looking real serious. Damn. Hey, bro, chill out, bro. I gotta show that A-Town love, man. I think the disappointment has been the Clippers, man. Like, what? WTF? Because I don't know what they gonna do, dog. But salute to everybody. I think a lot of teams definitely got better. I think obviously the champs are gonna be back stronger and better. They got a steal in Montreal, excuse me. The 2 for 19. That's a hell of a talent for that ticket that they got. I just seen that Bron just re-signed for 2 for 85. Lord,
2 for 85.
he really. I mean, what's crazy, man, is you really can't put worth on what he does. That's the crazy part. So I seen Matt Barnes posted today, which I do agree with that, man, because you can't necessarily put a number on what he does and what he brings to the organization and to the league, period. But it's going to be exciting, you know what I mean? And I think that them boys going to be right back where they should be next year. Whether they win it or not remains to be seen. But me personally, I've tried to tell people, man, don't bet against 2-3. No matter what. That boy always got something up his sleeve, man. And they hungry and they focused, man. So I'm excited. Can't wait to see my Atlanta Hawks get busy and do some work. Hey, Jones, bro, you got to tighten up, dog.
They playoff bound. The Hawks playoff bound this year. They playoff bound.
I got to show love to the home team, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just excited across the board. I think, it's just good that the NBA is back. And most importantly, I'm also happy for everybody that got their due. I think that's important too. You know what I'm saying? So
I understand that.
And I hope that, you know, everybody continues to, on the flip side, which is a much serious note, is continues to share their stories and things that they've gone through, whether it's the NBA. Salute to the WNBA, you know, the women who have been doing their thing. They've been speaking out, you know, not just about, you know, mental health, but also, you know, just certain things that they face, the injustices or the prejudices or anything else, you know, and they're fighting for ladies. And you know, I have daughters, so, you know, I definitely respect everything that they're doing, and how that league is continuing to grow and get better. So I want to salute them as well.
Well, gentlemen, I want to salute you too for all your work that you've done on the court, of course, but all the work you've done off the court. I think that's the most important chapter of your careers, is what you gentlemen have been doing and highlighting mental health awareness in our community, the African-American community, the Black community, and amongst men. I think that is an amazing thing. And for a lot of people, as you mentioned, with Kobe as being a superhero, a lot of you guys are all superheroes. You're superheroes to many people, your families, your friends. So when we're able to see you guys being real and showing us that you're human, it does a whole lot. So I tip my hat once again to you gentlemen. It goes down this Friday. It goes down on December the 4th. I'll be in the building to support you brothers and see everything that you guys got going on. Is there any way if any other athletes want to give back, if any organizations want to tip in and want to help you guys in what you're doing, how could they go about doing so?
They can reach us at www.mindfulsport.net. Lets you know a lot about, you know, if you're curious about what we have going on, what future events that we're going to have going on. You can go on there. You can get a lot of information and learn what we do. We actually having a camp on that Saturday for the youth. That's one thing that we really pride ourselves in too, because the youth, we like to try to go out and you know, talk to them about things more than basketball, because, you know, the NBA is like 1% chance that you're gonna make the NBA. So we try to get these kids to try to prevent a lot of the mental health issues on trying to find things other than basketball, because everybody can't make the NBA. So we try to get the kids to try to see other things other than that, not to scare them and not to take away from their dreams, but just to, you know, make them aware like there's other options. Even if you love the game of basketball, I mean, look, you got mascots that's making six figures, you know what I mean? So statisticians that's on the sideline making a lot of money, commentators. So a lot of things around the game that these kids can, you know, can work towards. Just use basketball as that engine to be able to start other things, because sports is something that drives everybody together, to be honest. So we try to reach out to these kids, let them know about everything. So Saturday from 12 to 5, we have a camp for the youth. We're going to have Allen Iverson come by, Jerry Jack, Mario West, Jerome Williams going to be coming through. Of course, me and Coach JB and Josh will be there with our sleeves up, man. So like I said, anybody, you know, www.mindfulsport.net, we could be reached. And on Instagram, it's mindful_performance. mindful_sport_performance on Instagram.
You better say that, Jay. You better say that. I see you, boy. Hey, T, I want to give you your roses too, T. Appreciate everything you're doing, man, and how you've been doing it over these past few years, man. So salute to you, brother. Appreciate you. Platform, how you've been bringing it, man, and much love to you, man. I've been knowing you for a few years, man, so I just want to say thank you, man. Keep doing it how you doing it too, my brother.
Thank you, good sir. That means a whole hell of a lot coming from you, man. Whole hell of a lot. I look forward to seeing you gentlemen on Friday. Y'all stay safe out here and keep doing what y'all doing.
Yes, sir.
All right, I appreciate you having us, man. I appreciate you.
No, thank you.